Once upon a time, on the edge of the known world, there was a small island called Berk. It wasn't the kind of place you dream of living. It was cold, battered by wind and sea, and plagued by a problem far more terrifying than the weather: dragons. These flying creatures weren't fairy tales or legends in Berk. They were real, and they attacked often, stealing food, burning homes, and striking fear in every heart. To survive in Berk, you had to be tough. You had to fight, and that's what the Vikings did. Among them lived a boy named Hiccup. He wasn't strong like the others. He wasn't loud or fearless. In fact, he was small, clumsy, and far more interested in tinkering with gadgets than swinging a sword. His father, Stoic the Vast, was the village chief, a towering man who embodied everything a Viking should be. And to him, Hiccup was a disappointment. Still, Hiccup longed to prove himself, not by being someone he wasn't, but by showing that even the smallest Viking had a place in the world. One stormy night during a chaotic dragon raid, Hiccup saw his chance. Armed with one of his strange inventions, a net-launching contraption, he aimed at the skies and fired. And somehow, by pure chance or fate, he hit something. But no one believed him, not even Hiccup himself, until the next day, when he wandered into the forest and found it, a dragon. But not just any dragon, a night fury, the rarest and most feared of all. It lay tangled and injured in the net, watching him with piercing green eyes. This was the moment every Viking dreamed of, and Hiccup froze. Knife trembling in his hand, he looked into the creature's eyes and saw fear. Not rage, not hate, but fear, just like his own. And so, instead of delivering a killing blow, he cut the ropes. He let it go. That decision changed everything. In the days that followed, Hiccup returned to the forest again and again. He found the dragon, still alive, now grounded by an injured tail, and began to study it. Slowly, carefully, he approached. He offered food, sat in silence, drew sketches, waited. Eventually, the dragon led him closer. He named him Toothless for the way his teeth vanished when he wasn't fighting. Toothless, it turned out, wasn't a monster. He was clever, playful, stubborn, and afraid. Just like Hiccup, a bond began to form. Two creatures misunderstood by their own kind. Two souls who didn't fit the mold. Hiccup crafted a tail fin for Toothless, one that allowed him to fly again, so long as Hiccup rode with him, guiding the flight. And for the first time, Hiccup felt free. High above the clouds, the world felt different, bigger, brighter, full of possibilities.
Come on! Come on!
Back in the village, Hiccup was forced to attend dragon fighting training with the other teens. While the others learned to stab and dodge, Hiccup used what Toothless had taught him: how to read body language, how to calm a dragon, how to avoid a fight. His instructors were amazed. Suddenly, Hiccup wasn't the weakling anymore. He was the top of his class. But he was also keeping a dangerous secret. His success wasn't strength, it was understanding. And when he was chosen to fight a dragon in front of the entire village, he panicked because he didn't want to kill. Not anymore. But secrets never stay hidden for long. On the day of the fight, Hiccup tried to show the village that dragons weren't the enemy. He dropped his weapon. He tried to soothe the dragon in front of the crowd. But fear is loud. Fear spreads fast. Before he could explain, Toothless arrived, trying to protect him, and was captured by the villagers. His father was furious. He accused Hiccup of betrayal. He chained Toothless and used him to find the dragon nest, a place no Viking had ever returned from. What they discovered was not a lair, but a prison. The smaller dragons weren't invaders, they were victims, forced to steal for a massive, monstrous dragon queen that ruled with terror. If they failed to bring enough food, they were eaten. For the first time, Stoics saw the truth. But it was too late. The queen emerged from the nest, and hell broke loose. Back in Berk, Hiccup rallied his friends. He freed Toothless, and together, they soared to the battlefield. It wasn't brute force that would win the day. It was teamwork, creativity, trust. Toothless and Hiccup flew in perfect sync, dodging flames, striking smart, not hard. And in the end, they brought the beast down. But not without cost. Hiccup was gravely injured. He lost part of his leg in the fight. When he awoke, he was different. But not alone. Toothless was still by his side. From that day forward, Berk was never the same. Dragons were no longer hunted. They became allies, friends, family. The skies above Berk, once filled with fire and fear, now danced with wings and laughter. And Hiccup? He didn't become the warrior his father once dreamed of. He became something greater. A leader not by strength, but by heart. A boy who looked fear in the eye and chose empathy instead. This isn't just a story about dragons. It's a story about choosing understanding over hate, about listening instead of judging, and about believing that being different is a strength, not a flaw. Hiccup didn't save his world by fighting harder. He saved it by seeing clearly. By daring to trust, and by standing up for what he knew was right, even when no one else believed him. So remember this, the world doesn't need more warriors, it needs more people like Hiccup. People who choose peace, even when it's hard, because sometimes the greatest power isn't in the sword, but in the hand that chooses not to use it. If this story touched you, give this video a like. Subscribe for more storytelling that brings movies to life through the lens of human values. This has been How to Train Your Dragon, as it was meant to be told. Until next time, fly free.